I've been
Listen,
scammed by everything.
where do we find where do the people listen? This is going to be a very widely listened to podcast. Where do they find the right people? Because it's a good
In
point.
general, there aren't any.
In this video, Richard Hart talks about the cryptocurrency industry and how it is full of scams. They state that there are three types of people in the industry: those who talk about the technology, those who talk about price, and those who show referral links. They argue that none of these groups have knowledge that would benefit their lives. The person recommends buying a product with market fit, holding it, and waiting. They give an example of buying Grayscale Bitcoin at a discount, which is a trust that buys Bitcoin and sells shares on retail OTC markets, and which is currently trading at a 33% discount. The person argues that scams in the industry are not always easy to spot and that real scammers don't look like scammers. They also claim to have transcended being called a scammer themselves. Finally, the person says that they keep creating new things, while others in the industry who got more followers have disappeared or are hiding.
I've been scammed by everything.
Where do we find where do the people listen? This is going to be a very widely listened to podcast. Where do they find the right people? Because it's a good
In
point.
general, there aren't any. In general, there aren't any. The people, you have people that will tell you about the technology, like Andreas Antonopoulos. It's useless for a lot of things. He's too old. He doesn't keep up with the new stuff. He doesn't talk about price. Useless. You have guys that look at charts all day. They get you wreck trading. If you see a guy looking at a chart, having indicators, drawing lines, you're going to lose all your money.
Right.
You'll lose all your money. And he's going to sell you a course to learn how to lose your money fast.
Right.
And he's going to tell you.
Analysis is a joke. That's fucking ridiculous.
It can work on really long time frames, but usually you're just not going to zoom out far enough, and you can't play years. You've got to degenerate,
For the average person, it's just not going to fucking
no,
work.
No, 100% not. You'll lose all your
right.
And then, so you've got the guys that talk about the technology, useless as far as price goes. It's the only thing anyone cares about. You got the guys that talk about price. You're going to get wrecked trading. And then you got the guys that show referral links. And I really don't, other than actual cryptocurrency, like I don't follow any of these guys because they're useless to me. They don't have a single piece of knowledge that I could benefit my life with. Like the best thing you can do is buy something that has product market fit, hold it, and wait.
What do you give me an example of something right now that you think is a really great buy?
Nothing until the Grayscale 36% discount goes away, 33% discount. Right now, so Grayscale owns 3% of all Bitcoin. It's a trust that you buy. They have a private placement round. In their private placement round, people give them money. They use that money to buy Bitcoin. They wait 6 months. Now they can sell those shares on retail on OTCQX bulletin board. It usually trades at a 20% premium, but now it's a 33% discount. Why would Wall Street, that loves to buy Grayscale Bitcoin more than real Bitcoin, it usually trades at a 20% premium historically for the 5 or 6 years it's existed. Why would we have a real bull run when you can buy that encapsulated, encumbered, no right to redeem kind of fake, but it's really there Bitcoin?
So it's a theoretical EFT in some respect.
Exactly.
Right?
They really hold it. It's really there. It's really legal as heck, but they do charge a 2.5% overhead. And it's, as long as you can buy Grayscale Bitcoin for a third off, it's no one in legacy is going to buy normal Bitcoin.
Right. So Richard, you kind of look like a scammer, but I've
transcended that. I don't think there's any scammer that looks like me. I'm sorry. Really, I
now
don't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's this concept called hiding in the light, right? When you hide in the light, you're very visible for what you want people to think, except that you're not. So this is the opposite. Maybe, but here's the thing: the real scammers don't look like scammers.
Right? Well, this is like Sun Tzu, whatever. He used to have less followers than me. He ended up with more followers than me. Got everyone destroyed. In comes the next guy, who's another guy that no one had ever heard of, Raoul Pal. Who's that? I never heard of him in 2017. I never heard of him in 2018. Here he is. Gets irresponsibly long Ethereum at the top.
Very irresponsible.
His quote, irresponsibly long, largest position he's ever had in his life. Hey man, just checking in. I'm the guy that tried to save you. I called the top. You bought the top. How'd those options work out? They expired worthless. You lost the largest trade of your life. You should have listened to me, dude. But you thought you were smart. And then we just see this over and over and over again. Like, at what point? It just makes me so like. So, for instance, the Plan B guy, he's got 1.2 million followers, or the 100 trillion USD guy, whatever. He has got 1.2 million followers. Got them all wrecked. Now he shills referral links and trading signals to get them wrecked more.
Yeah.
Why am I not worshipped in this industry? Basically, like, people should kneel and be like, "Oh my God, this Richard keeps handing out free coins, free books, free everything." Tells everyone, like,
Sure. So out of adversity, gems blossom, right? That's the story of the world.
Thanks for driving us to greatness. Here's the funny thing. So like, so many people, they call me a scammer, and they make these predictions. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna disappear." You're like, "Hey guys, I'm on TV. I got a documentary near done about me. I keep creating new stuff. The stuff I made previously has been working perfect. I'm out there as much as I could possibly be." How is everyone else doing? In hiding. Where's Susie?
You realize
hiding? Kyle Davies hiding. All these losers that everyone gave more follows to and got wrecked, all in hiding. You're like, well, I won. I'm just going to
realize
awesome stuff.
All of it is the projection. So what people see in the world, they're projecting themselves onto it. So they're thinking, what would I be doing if I was him?
Right.
I would be running for the hills.
Yeah.
Right.
And they quit. They're like, I had the reporter lady ask me, like, why do you care about saving people? And my brain is just like, doesn't everyone do that? Like, isn't that like default humanity, is to just try to make sure other people aren't getting screwed? Like,
not if you don't have anything. If your bank account is zero and all of a sudden you have $1 billion, the temptation to disappear and abuse the world with your monetary energy is intense.
Weird. I mean, I've been retired since 2003. So like, this is like 20 years of retired. I like when people call me the spam king. You're like, yeah, I got sued 20 years ago, 20 in civil court for $500. And I couldn't get a lawyer to represent me because you're not allowed to in small claims court. You're not allowed to have a lawyer.
So my recommendation
20 years ago,
that you should give people more ammo. So all of those things are already well known.
I wrote books. I wrote Sci-Vive. I mean, there's got to be something terrible in there, right?
What do you think makes people most misunderstand you?
I mean, I don't think there's anyone else like me in the world. It's so easy to categorize people usually.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's the guy that really cares about decentralization, really cares about his fellow man. All my first YouTube videos were just me trying to teach you how to give a better apology, have a better relationship, be happier, gamble less, drink less, don't play poker, like don't play grinding video games. Like, doing everything I can to make people's lives better, because I was already retired in 2003. So I've been retired 20 years. And so I was just trying to make the world a better place. And then I, mined Bitcoin at 50 cents. And then I made my own cryptocurrency, then went on 10,000x. And then I predicted Bitcoin price 2 cycles, 2017, 2021, call the top on the day. And then I predicted Celsius was going to fail and that you should remove your money from it years before it happened. And I just keep hitting home run after home run after home run after home run. And eventually people are like, this is weird. They shouldn't be able to do all that stuff, right? And then he's also social and he can twerk and he can do pole tricks. I can do pole tricks. I can twerk. Can you guys do that? No, you can't. I can do it. You can't do it. I'm the world's largest diamond. Do you own it? No, I own it. There's only one. I own it. You don't own it, right? Like, the list is weird. It's a weird list. So I installed a toilet for my mom last week. 2 toilets, two bidets. 30-minute video. You can watch it on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Insta. You can watch me install a bidet from opening the package and reading instructions to doing it.
Yeah.
Who does that? Nobody does that.
So I have to ask you something you said the other day on the show, because what you just went from toilet to Bitcoin mining to one of the biggest coins in the world, right? That people know.
Yep.
The other day, I heard you say that it's because you're an absolute genius.
I'm a genius, but technically I'm not.
And you might be. I want to challenge that though.
You gotta be 200 IQ technically to be a genius. I'm at like 145, so like I'm not technically a genius, but since you gotta understand, the average 50% of people is stupider than 100. So by definition, they retarget how smart you have to be 100 IQ. It actually moves around over time. It's something called the Flynn effect. So the Flynn effect makes it so that people just generally tend to get smarter over time globally. And so if you're like 132 IQ, you can get into Mensa, you're in the top 2%. And then if you're in like 145, you're in maybe like the top, I don't know, 0.1% or something. Like the numbers it gets thinner and thinner very rapidly. So it's like a bell curve. It's literally a bell curve.
But in all fairness, regardless of what your IQ is, at some point you had to do some work. And I want to talk.
I never stopped learning.
I
learn constantly.
I want to talk about that for a second, because I feel like I'm in a stage in my life where I finally got to the point where I made enough money where I really had to stop and say, I have to do everything I can to be financially educated.
Well, this looks awesome. I mean, it seems like you won the game here, but
I'm doing okay.
It looks really good.
I'm doing okay, but financial literacy is one of my main focuses in my development.
Right.
How did you stump? Because I know you started off, you were installing
air conditionings,
and then you did car radios.
Yep, car stereo.
And then you sold that business.
Well, I tried to. I just shut it down because it's too much hassle. I went to a business broker.
Brick and mortar's a bitch.
Well, the problem with retail is you can't expand it, you can't scale it. You're like, oh, I need to open a new store, new inventory, new
people,
advertising.
Humans.
The humans is the worst part.
Yeah.